Mint is still $15 a month for premium wireless. And if you haven't made the switch yet, here are 15 reasons why you should. 1, it's $15 a month. 2, seriously, it's $15 a month. 3, no big contracts. 4, I use it. 5, my mom uses it. Are you playing me off? That's what's happening, right? Okay, give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, $15 per month equivalent required. New customer offer first 3 months only. Then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.
British Spy Stories Season 5 Kill or Be Killed. Episode 16. After flying from Paris to Frankfurt, Riverside hires a white Audi R8 for the next leg of the journey, a 5-hour road trip. He drives down to Basel in Switzerland, then east past the Wallensee Lake, before finally turning south to the Rheinwald Valley and the safe house called Kappa 16. The cool midday sun hangs low over the enormous mountains that surround this part of the Swiss landscape. He stops his Audi near one of the small groups of homes scattered in the valley, and he steps out. There is no sound that he can determine. After London and Paris, this place is dead quiet to his urban ears. The air is windless. He checks the detailed location information for the safe house on his MI6 phone and starts to walk away from the main road and up a steep slope to a group of 4 properties nestled on a rise in the land that ultimately climbs northwards to the enormous snow-capped Piz Beverin mountain. The wooden frontage of Kappa 16 sits at the end of a run of residences. Many of these are holiday homes, he assumes. That explains why there's no one about. He approaches the oak door and knocks, but there's no answer. He steps back away from the house. As he's considering going around the back, a voice he knows cascades on the air to him. "Are you checking up on me, Rob?" He turns. Kate has a Beretta M9 raised towards him, and he raises his hands. "I'll come in peace, Kate." She walks to him and checks for weapons in his belt and boots, and whether he has an underarm holster on him. Having found nothing, she pushes her handgun into the back of her jeans. "Did Gabby tell you I was here?" "Yeah." "You'd better come in." They go into the house, and Kate puts coffee into a filter machine, which proceeds to bubble away. "Sir Bernard is worried about you." "They can't find the final data copy," she says. "So it's lovely that they're concerned, but they can't do anything to protect me until they know where the data went. I'm tracking the Oberon chatter on a VPN, and they're going round in circles." When the coffee is ready, they sit in 2 heavy carved traditional Swiss rocking chairs by the doors to the veranda, and the steam from their cups curls up in the light. "You can't stay here forever," he says. "I know enough about you to know that you'll want to get out there and do something." "It's only been 10 days, Rob. I'm quite enjoying it. I never have holidays." She smiles and continues. "I'll give them a bit longer before I do anything." They chat and avoid anything more about work. Then she says, "Come and see the valley. It's peaceful." They walk back to the main road and take a trail through the woodland that leads to the banks of the Surfnersee reservoir. "Listen," she says, stopping on the path. "I can't hear anything." "Exactly." "I wouldn't have thought you'd like peace and quiet. Doesn't fit with you being an assassin much, does it?" "You're wrong, Rob. The moment before you put pressure on the trigger, you have to be at peace. Otherwise you'll never be accurate." "I never know how much you pretend you're a loner, Kate." "Me neither." She has a vanishing smile in her eyes for a moment. They walk on and reach the bank of the reservoir. The water stretches out across the valley floor for 500 metres. Riverside puts his head on one side. "I can hear something now." "Is that a motorboat?" "Unlikely. They're not allowed on the reservoir." But the noise continues and gets louder. "It is a boat," he says. "Look." She turns her blue eyes to follow his pointing finger, and they see a black Sea Ray SPX-190 speedboat on the water in the distance. "That's going at a hell of a rate," says Riverside. "And coming this way," she says. "Get back from the water." The craft is 50 yards away when a spray of bullets shatters the peace of the Rheinwald Valley. The spies turn and run uphill, but the boat tracks their route along the bank. Kate leads them into the tree line that borders the Surfnersee, and they disappear into the greenery just before a second burst of automatic fire hits the ground and bounces off the trunks around them. "Up higher," she orders, and they climb inside the tree cover. The boat comes to shore, and 2 men jump into the shallows before giving chase. "Rob, take this. I bought 2. She hands him another Beretta, and they continue their ascent. "We need to get elevation." After a minute, Kate finds a rocky outcrop on the hillside, with 2 distinct areas for them each to take cover. They both duck down and wait. They can hear the sounds of boots on the hillside, and undergrowth cracking and breaking as the attackers navigate the wooded slope. Kate has a sight line downhill to the end of the path that she and Riverside just used. One man appears in the clearing. He's all in black, with a mask around his lower face. Kate fires rounds and hits his shoulder. He goes to ground, but he is not seriously injured, and she can see him take cover. The second man emerges from shrubbery on the far side, to her left, and he opens fire. Bullets ricochet off the rocks, and sparks fly from the stones that are inches from her face. Kate and Riverside return fire. The second man isn't hit, but he also falls back into cover. There's silence for 5 seconds. Kate and Riverside can see each other, and they lock their gaze. She makes hand signals to indicate that Riverside should attack the first man's position, and she'll focus on the second assailant. She puts up 3 fingers, then 2, then 1. They rise from their positions and fire repeatedly. Bullets come from both of the gunmen. Kate hits the second man and he lies still. The first man continues shooting. Kate is counting her 15 bullets as she joins Riverside's assault, and she knows her magazine will be empty in 2 rounds. The remaining gunman steps out from behind the trees. Kate raises her Beretta. The first shot hits him in the temple, and he falls away downhill. She doesn't need her final bullet. Kate runs to the man and pulls off his face mask, but she doesn't recognize him. She pats him down for an ID, but wasn't expecting anything, and there's nothing there. She goes to the other attacker and goes through the same procedure. She takes the men's photos to allow London Control to run face scans to identify them. "That was close, Rob," she calls over as she finishes her work. But he doesn't answer. Kate turns. Riverside is on the ground, face skyward, and eyes closed. There is a red stain on his jacket, near his stomach. "Rob!" She runs over. "Don't die on me!" She slaps his cheek, and he regains consciousness. "Ribs?" His voice is barely present. She pulls up his shirt and a spew of blood gushes onto the earth from the wound. "It needs pressure. Put your hand on it." Kate runs back to the first gunman and pulls off his jacket, tears it into broad strips, then binds them around Riverside's torso, pulling them hard around his frame to stop the flow of blood. Next, she takes the second gunman's jacket and the shoulder straps from both of the AK-12 automatic weapons that they used, laces it all together and creates a cloth toboggan. Kate rolls Riverside to one side, pushes the cloth underneath him, and rolls him back down onto the makeshift carrier. She finally straps him and the cloth together so he doesn't roll off. When she's confident it will work, Kate grabs the towing strap of the jacket toboggan and slowly pulls Riverside downhill. It takes 20 minutes of creeping descent before they reach the tarmacked road. She leaves him out of sight in the trees and runs back to Kappa 16 to collect transport. With the side door open, she slowly eases him into the passenger seat of the Audi without spreading his damaged skin and reopening the wound. He's unconscious again as she starts the engine and drives back to safety. Kate reverses the whole process at the safe house and drags him on the cloth toboggan through the front door and along the wooden corridor to the bedroom. She puts hands under his arms and pulls with all of her strength on the dead weight until Riverside is lying on the bed. There's a medkit in the house. His pulse is strong, and she checks his temperature, which is 38.3 degrees. She grinds painkillers under a glass and puts them in water. For 5 minutes, Kate slowly pipettes the liquid into his unconscious mouth. There's enough reflex left in his muscles to drink without waking. She gets one of her t-shirts and douses it in cold water, then lays it across his burning forehead. She sits on the edge of the bed, watching her patient, her mind rolling through the events of the last hour. He is settled and quiet now, and she starts to inspect the wound. There's no evidence of a bullet inside him that she can see, but there is vein damage, hence the blood volume back on the hillside. When she releases the pressure, blood has congealed around the damaged skin, and that has narrowed the size of the gash. It's wide, though, and she knows she'll have to sew it up. Kate finds a needle and thread in the house, as well as pliers in the toolbox. She bleaches everything, then dries it off. She takes the needle in the pliers and pushes it into his flesh on one side of the wound. Riverside makes a noise from deep within him, but he doesn't wake. Kate weaves the thread into the skin and pulls it tight across the bloody flesh. She can feel sweat on her hairline. One bead of water drops down and catches on her eyelash as she works. The repair is messy when she's finished, but the skin is close enough together to repair itself. She pours antiseptic fluid on the stitches and puts the biggest plaster from the medkit across the damage. Kate pulls the bed covers over his unconscious body and checks his temperature again, but it's the same as before. At least it's not still building. She walks to the kitchen and makes food for herself, to fill the time more than anything. In her mind, she devises a set of stages for his recovery. If his temperature hasn't dropped in 4 hours, she'll review her whole approach. After eating, she pulls an armchair into the bedroom and sits next to him. She has a book, but doesn't read any of it. The next thing she knows, she is waking up, and it's dusk outside. This is the moment of truth. She leans over and feels his forehead. His temperature has dropped. Kate breathes out. Riverside is saying something that she can't understand, and she leans over and puts her ear near his mouth. "Water," he whispers. Over the course of the next hours, as the light of the day rolls away into night, Riverside gradually regains a little strength, and eventually he wants to sit up. She gives him soup and painkillers. Then he sleeps again. Kate opens her eyes. She is lying next to Riverside on the bed. The dawn light is playing with the top of the mountains to the west, and she can only see an outline of the room around her. His breathing is steady. She gets up and showers, then returns to him, and he's awake. I nearly died, Kate. She smiles. You saved me.
Just basic field med,
she says. I owe you one. She ignores the humanity in his words, as she chose to be an assassin precisely to avoid anything too personal like that.
I'll get breakfast,
she says, and she cooks bacon and eggs. After they've finished eating, he says, Who are those gunmen?
I've no idea. I took photos of them. London might have a facial match on record.
She collects her phone from the kitchen, makes a call, and puts it on speaker.
Marlin,
she says, when London Control answer.
Coniston, your location shows North Africa. Can you confirm?
Kate flashes a glance at Riverside.
I get everywhere, Marlin. I need an ID on 2 attackers.
She sends the images of the dead men to Marlin from her phone image store.
Have you got access to the GCHQ prosopon system on your desk?
I have,
says Marlin.
I run them against it.
Kate can hear Marlin's keyboard clacking down the line.
Here we are. They're mercenaries. Both ex-French special forces,
says the operator.
They were a bit rusty,
says Kate.
Didn't strike me as being at the peak of their fitness.
Did you encounter them, Coniston?
They're dead, Marlin. Can you call in Catharsis support to clean the bodies? I'll send you a grid ref.
Okay.
Who are their associates?
Says Kate.
Can you see that on the system?
Nothing on that.
Thanks anyway.
She ends the call. Who do you think sent them? Says Riverside.
My guess is that it's one of the 87 people that I've killed doing my job. But how did the mercenaries find us? How did they know we were there? By the Surf-Nazay reservoir exactly at that moment.
Trackers,
says Riverside.
Satellite.
You were right what you said about me not being content to wait forever,
she says.
This changes my view. I'll have to do something now. When the news of the mercenaries' deaths gets back to whoever paid for them, they'll send more. I'm not sitting around and waiting to get shot at.
Call London back. They can send resource. She ignores his idea.
Someone's seeking revenge, says Kate. Mercenaries are just hired guns. I need to follow the money. Find the person who wants me dead.
You can't assassinate without a kill order from London, Kate. You know that.
Any action I take is only ever to secure British interests, Rob. Like yours is.
Her eyes flare in the daylight. Don't kill them.
Where's all this coming from, Rob?
It never gets us anywhere, does it? Another death. Kate slams out of the bedroom, leaving him on the bed. He swings his legs to one side and tries to stand, but can't. He falls back onto the mattress and grunts as a shot of pain rams into his muscles around the wound. Kate, he calls out, but she ignores him. He waits in the room, getting frustrated at his inability to move around yet. After 10 minutes, she returns wearing her outside jacket and with a backpack on one shoulder.
I'll call Catharsis to come and collect you,
she says.
I'm taking the Audi.
Stay. You don't even know what a data file is. She turns and walks out. Kate, he calls out. But he only hears the front door slam. Then, a few moments later, the roar of the V10 engine in the Audi as it disappears into the distance.